Welcome everybody again to our last conversation of the day, and appropriately with Tiffany Shlain, who is the of course the grand poobah leader of this wonderfully collaborative environment she's created to make films. And I'm Arnie, who's a collaborator and editor who's worked with her on several projects, and I'm excited to be in conversation with her today. One notable thing, those of you who are here will notice, is that Tiffany's house, which has never lost power before, did right now. So you will not see her, you will hear her voice though.
But you will see Hannah from our team.
That's right, this is Hannah's picture. Say hi to Hannah's picture as well. So anyway, welcome Tiffany to the conversation that you begun, and we will muddle along with just your voice, and people will not be able to see your beautiful mug, although of course they can in the movies themselves.
Yeah, you see me enough.
Tiffany, we're losing you again. Tiffany, are you there?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You were breaking up there. But let's just start out with I think we can sort of do a little bit of an origin story. Where did character become such a central issue for you and for the films that you're making, and Character Day itself? Give us a little bit of a story.
I'm sorry. I'm sleep deprived, and I think it's funny in this international day where everyone's connected on the internet. I'm not really connected.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
And you're seeing a picture of him from my team pulsating on screen, which is great.
We are currently putting a can with a piece of string from Mill Valley all the way to San Francisco so that we can make it a little bit better.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, it's been obviously a pleasure for me to work with the Moxie Institute and on Let It Ripple Films. We've been having a great time, and I feel really privileged to get to work on these films because they invite everyone in here as a collaborator. If you should come here, if you're a delivery person and you walk in while we're screening a film, most likely you'll be asked to sit down and give your thoughts and be a part of the process. And it's part of the thing that's really wonderful about being here. This is a collaboration as well.
Well, Arnie, thank you. I love working with you. It's been great to tap into the Google Hangout. And I just came from a beautiful screening at a big public middle school here in Mill Valley. And we showed The Adaptable Mind, and I was standing in the back with all the teachers, and spontaneously at the end of the movie, everyone started raising their hand, all the students, and all the teachers started crying. And it was like, wow, perhaps one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. It was amazing. And anyway, so I'm just blown away, and we're trending globally on Twitter. It's the most tweeted thing happening, 6,700 screenings, 41 countries. Seeing photos from Indonesia and Germany and Scotland and England and China, and I don't know, it's just been taking my breath away. And I called Jenny Wolf, who was a consultant with us and a friend when we were working on Character Day, and she's like, when we were working on the science character, she's like, you should do a Character Day casually, and I think just in passing. And I called her this morning and said, look what you've done. But it's so beautiful. I mean, obviously people are ready for this conversation, and I think everyone wants to be part of something bigger than themselves, and this day has really catalyzed the conversation and brought so many different voices. I mean, anyone that's listening, if you go into the Twitter stream under #Character Day, it's like the most beautiful thing. It's just humanity in full force. So it's been great. I've been wanting to hop onto the Google Hangouts. How are those going?
They're going fantastically. What a rich swath of people you brought here. Elaine was just asking me, Elaine, who's one of the team members, was saying, what has been your favorite conversation so far? And I was like, has there been more than one conversation? I feel like I've been in one great conversation this entire day, and I love having conversations. So it's been been pretty awesome. And really, from rabbis to educators to thought leaders, it's been pretty awesome. If nobody else has benefited, I certainly have, and that's all that I really care about.
Oh, that's so great. Well, we're gonna cut together. We'll edit together highlights, which will be really fun.
Yeah. Tiffany, I was just gonna point out, when we're working on films, we often have these sort of, when we get in the latter stages, there's this kind of like check to see if we're getting enough chills from a film, or if there's like that moment where things are really coming together and pointing to something bigger. And you telling that story, I just wanted to let you know, was a full-on chill factor story about that screening.
Thank you. Actually, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I loved your email. Those that are listening, it's such a complicated combination of elements that make a film. And I mean complicated in the sense of that, if you move one thing 2 frames and, it just changes the emotion. And last week, I was worried because we had done some stuff to the adaptable mind, and I had lost a couple of what I felt like were really the most powerful moments. And Sawyer was so great. And we just went in there with Hannah, Sawyer, and I, and just re-chillified the film. It was so ineffable on what created that. And I was marveling at the creative process, how one thing, one beat off can just throw everything into a different space. So just creatively, The Adaptable Mind was probably one of the most challenging films that I've ever made. And go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tiffany, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, seeing it with all those 7th graders who were so just spontaneously raised their hands at the end and were so ready to engage in the world. It was just meant the world. And thanks to you and our amazing animator, Kel, Sawyer, and Hannah, and Chris, and all the interns. I mean, then all the people who sent us videos, and of course, Marianne Heffernan, who's just such an inspiration. It's just been a great project. So it's fun to just know that film is screening all over the world. Yeah.
It's been interesting. Sawyer and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but just that you were just saying how that one little thing can throw off the entire film in the creative process. And the same thing is true in some ways of character. Like you can find something. Mary Beth was talking earlier today about how finding this passion that she had brought all of these character traits and skills that she had into a way that made sense. It sort of knitted together into something that suddenly they were all strengths, whereas before they seemed like disparate traits. And I was just going to, sort of add that the making of this film and your filmmaking in general is aspirational to a lot of the subject matter. And I wonder if you can talk about sort of the challenges and opportunities and some of the thinking behind that, where you're not, you're sort of making these films, including people, in your cloud filmmaking process that are even outside of your filmmaking studio, where you see that line between the subject matter that really matters to you about collaboration and character and what you're actually doing in the process of making the film.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, the cloud films, it's so exciting to collaborate with people from so many different parts of the world and make something together. I mean, it's so exciting to make something together. So the films are such a they're such a collaborative effort. From us, we ask a lot of questions on Facebook. Those of you listening, we really do ask our Facebook and Twitter community and email community a lot of things we're wrestling with and we're trying to figure out. So from the moment that we're making it to all the videos that get sent in to working with all the team members and musicians and animators, it's so beautifully collaborative. And I really, the cloud filmmaking, I mean, in some ways, I think back to the Webby Awards, which, I founded like 20 years ago. And it was before we could really do what we're doing now with the web. And so Character Day, I love this idea that everyone's having their own event and they're making it unique.
Uh-oh, Tiffany? Tiffany, I think we've lost you. Can you, are you
hear me there?
Oh, now I got you.
Okay. We can put like this thread that weaves them all together to make people feel united. And right now, watching the Republican debate And we're coming up on election. We're hearing a lot of what separates us as humans, at least in this country. And remembering all the things that connect us is such a powerful way to move forward in the world. And the timing of all of this is just felt really right. And like, you know, there's so many amazing educators working in character, and a big shout out to them and all the teachers that are educating our kids all over the world. And to be able to just make something for them that's chill and really, really gratifying. Yeah, I don't know, it's been a really magical day.
Great. I'm sorry, you're a little jittery, so apologize if I interrupt you. There's a little bit of a delay going. But I just wanted, there are a couple questions that have jumped in that are pretty good along the conversation that we're just having right now. So I'm gonna turn to some audience questions. We have somebody who's asked, what can teachers do to enhance Character Day follow-up type activities?
Great. So we have this amazing resource hub that Chris from our team put together, and it's got 1.6 thousand items of wonderful resources there. So there's discussion plans, there's downloadable discussion cards, there's, if you want to work on any particular character strength, you can pick a character strength and find films, books, apps, and games that'll help your students delve deeper. If you're a parent, if you're a person, we have so many different ways, and you can enter in through the films. You can enter in through our periodic table of character strengths. We have a whole bunch of, you know, and we want people to suggest ideas of what to add. We just started this, and we're, you know, hoping to fund something that'll really make this a robust living entity, kind of like Wikipedia, that anyone could add to.
You know, I just wanted to note that I got a follow-up statement for the person who had just asked that question, who has been participating in Character Day with his class of 4th graders. They screened and discussed the science of character, and just wanted to thank you for putting this out there. That was a nice little note.
Nice.
And then we have another question. Thank you for the wisdom you were sharing in the adaptable mind. How do you personally adapt when all doors seem to close to your visionary edge?
You know, when he's like, the doors are closing. You think that's what it means, or she means?
I think what maybe what they're saying is that for you, when you're trying to get something done, I mean, you obviously make films in a lot differently than other folks, and you feel like, you know, when you're pitching things, and how do you adapt to the situation? How do you get through it and make things happen?
Well, I'm a multidisciplinary person. That was my study. That was my major in college, was interdisciplinary studies. So I really try to bring a diverse group of people, perspectives around me, to help me make a film, fund a film, write a film, give rough cut screenings. I feel like I'm always trying to bring people around that are really going to help us, like, push and pull the idea and make it stronger. These films are so not solo. They're such collaborative efforts. So I think having really amazing people around you is really the key, and supporters. And, you know, anytime you're starting a project, think of the most diverse group of people that you could bring around you to help you make that project the best it can be, and the most diverse, the better. I think that's how I'd answer that.
Great. And do you, I'll just follow up myself, when you're, as a person who has, you know, I mean, I think a lot of folks out there who are launching personal visions, but love this idea of working collaboratively with folks. Can you talk a little bit about what that's meant for you, and how you navigate that territory of, you know, having launched this project, but also having, you know, really strong co-collaborators like Sawyer, and how you manage, you know, so many voices, and bring this to fruition in a way that that makes sense to your original vision for the project?
That's a great question. I mean, you know, I love the collaborative process, and then there's some points where you know, sometimes I just feel like, okay, I have to return. You know, actually, as a director, the best analogy I can ever think of is a focus puller. Like, there's all these people that all there. They're all these amazing get a unified vision. And there's all these people in the theater, and they're bringing all their unique perspective and back. They're all seeing totally different films in my mind. So it's like, I feel like the focus puller, and as I get older, it has to speak to me. If I feel like anything rings a little bit off, it's just like I can't do it. And as I get older, I hear that voice more. But there were a couple points in making Adaptable and the Mensch film where I was really struggling, and I had to go, okay, what speaks to me? I have to. If I don't hear that voice, I will feel lost. So as much as all the feedback and the collaborative, which is amazing, and so that's interesting to kind of, I think actually I came to that. That's why we added in the film, solo thinking is so important. Sometimes I got too collaborative. And I forgot, I had to come in by myself one day and just rethink one of the films because I lost that sense. Because everyone had such strong opinions around me, and I needed to hear my voice. And so, and an article at Aspen Institute about collaboration is so promoted right now in every aspect. Every workplace is open, and but there's just so much value also in just being yourself and thinking by yourself, and that's also, you need that to bring to the collaborative environment.
Do you feel like your films are often quite optimistic, and there have been films that have been, especially in The Future Starts Here, where you were directly addressing pessimism with optimism, and how that works for you. Can you talk a little bit more about the importance of that, both to your filmmaking, what you want to say, but also to sort of character and how it relates to how people can increase their character strengths?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very optimistic person, but not in a Pollyanna way. Like I believe you need to will things into existence. You need to will the world into the way you hope it could be. But there's also a lot of things with technology that I'm not crazy about, and I want people to talk about it because we're all so busy. I hope with our films, and I say our because you're such a great member of our team and a core member. Everyone on our team knows how much everyone worked on these films. There's just, these films are hoping to have you take a moment to stop and think about the important things in life. And I really believe those make a difference. When humans, when you think and wrestle with something, you evolve yourself and you figure out what you need to work on, and yeah.
And just to remind everybody that Tiffany is overcoming the universe at this moment with power out in her house. So she's using her assistant Hannah's phone, so you'll see a face that shows up occasionally that is not in fact Tiffany, but she would love to be here in video, but this was the way that would work the best.
Yeah, I mean, all the technology we were able to do, the fact that my closing video.
This is launching out into the entire globe. We were earlier today talking to a woman from Ghana, and Tiffany, who's just right across the bridge that I can see from this window, unfortunately caught in some other kind of thing. It's crazy. But
and I don't be reminding people all day, but the hashtag character day is handled.
I've lost Tiffany. I've lost you. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
You're back. You're back.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for all the people, but this is technology. I can't wait. In 5 years, the capabilities are going to be so much greater. Everyone on the planet will be connected. Right now, we are at almost a third of the world is connected, but in 5 years, we'll all be connected. We'll be laughing at this moment because it'll seem so ridiculous and archaic that I am not able to be on my own Google Hangout for closing up characters.
I imagine there'll always be power outages, though. It's the only problem.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that reminder, too.
So we're getting near the end of time, but I just wanted to ask a couple more. I'm just interested in your how when we're making films here, we've talked a lot about how collaborative it is. I know for me, making each of these pieces is often like, I'll tell you like, oh man, I'm starting to do that gratitude practice with my children, the Blessings Project. And I wonder how much when you launch on these films and you have the original idea, how much of it for you is like, I want to find out more about this and I would like to, you know, have this be a transformative experience for yourself? How much of it is like a journey that's mirroring the filmmaking?
Absolutely. Usually I'm making a film because I'm trying to figure something out. And the film allows me to go really deep into the subject with amazing people and discuss it for a year. These films take us a year. And really, I'm trying to make sense of the world myself. And I hope through doing it, I can share what I've learned. And, you know, I love films again and again and again. Like, they just showed The Science of Character, which I think I've seen 1,000 times. But, you know, the more you see something like that, like the growth mindset is so ingrained in my family because we've seen that film so many times, and that's good. That's what I hope as a parent. So, so yes, absolutely. I'm trying to figure things out just like everybody else. This is the way I do it. And then what's really exciting is to be able to share the films and hear what people think. And what their ideas are, and they'll hopefully evolve my thinking about it too. So we're all kind of evolving this larger conversation about what does it mean to be human in the 21st century.
Great. And then lastly, if you can just talk a little bit about how this has become more, you know, I mean, you're a filmmaker at heart. You went to film school or sort of film school when you went to Berkeley. You made your own film school, so to speak. But this has grown into much more than a filmmaking project. Can you talk a little bit about what else is, you know, involved in creating these films? And, you know, there's a lot of materials and support, and kind of give us a sense of the ecosystem of launching this.
Yeah, I mean, to me, making a film is literally only one part of it. And that's always been my philosophy back to when I made The Tribe, which has its 10-year anniversary tonight, a big screening in San Francisco. When we're gonna have a special character day event. But that film, I got half of the budget for making the film and half for making discussion cards and a kit. And I always view films as the appetizer, and the main course is the discussion that you'll have afterwards. So really the film is half of it. And you can be just as creative with getting a film out into the world as making it, as you've seen today. That just much thought and attention went into that. And I think a lot of filmmakers, you know, you spend so much energy and money and time on making the film, and you're kind of like totally done when you make the film, and you hope somebody does the work of getting it out into the world. But I really believe with all the tools available, it needs to be half of your energy. And you will watch the team tonight at around 9:30 collapse because we are on the movies and character day. And, you know, we have some amazing funders we're talking to about really giving us more support to do more with this, because obviously the world is ready. The world is very ready for this conversation, and the 6,700 screenings in 41 countries told us that, and this is a framework to build upon for sure. So this is exciting to us because I don't really think of myself as a filmmaker as much as a conversation maker, and this was a global conversation that I really wanted to help get started, along with, you know, Sawyer and my team.
Wonderful, Tiffany. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of this conversation, and of course the ongoing conversation of your films. I'm going to end on my side with another great comment that somebody made here to our conversation. This teacher, the fourth grade teacher, just as a kind of idea of the impact you're having already, and that these films can ripple out with. He says, this initiative keeps in line with my personal vision of not just educating students, but helping them to become better humans. I think we may create a class project film focusing on the importance of character, maybe planning a school-wide character day.
Oh, I just got chills. That's beautiful. So
there's your ripples right there. There's a whole school.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, thank you Arnie, for climbing across the stormy ocean of the internet to find us.
You did a great job today. I wish I could have seen all the Hangouts, but thank you for being one of the hosts.
Wonderful. Thanks, Tiffany, and I'll see you tonight at the grand premiere.
Woohoo! Okay, bye. Let it ripple.
Let it ripple. Bye.